Promenade.
Promenade. Good. The promenade is the open deck that circles the entire ship. Okay? You could walk all the way around the outside of the ship on the promenade, and it looks like this. It goes all the way around the outside of the ship, and passengers can come up on the railing and look over at the water and look at the view and everything. Okay? So the promenade is the deck that goes all the way around the ship, just like this. Promenade. The screw. The screw is the name for the ship's propeller. That's how a ship goes, right? The propeller spins, and it moves the ship forward. Okay? So this big giant thing here, look at these men, and look at the size of that. Huge. Grande. All right? So that spins, and that makes the ship go forward, and that's called the screw. The screw. Okay. So those are the areas in a ship. Now, a couple things, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I put this on here, and what I probably should have done is given you words that dealt more directly with engineering. But this is important too, because you will hear these on the ship, so you're going to need to know what they are just so that you're familiar with them. Okay? So make sure you're filling in the blanks here for these as we go. First, now navigation. Let me see how I can explain this. Navigation, when we talk about navigation, it's the direction that the ship is going, where the ship is going, and how the ship is going to get there. Okay? For example, when I came here this morning, I had to navigate my way to this place. I had to find my way here. Okay? Well, that's what navigation is. It's where the ship goes and how it finds its way. Okay? So, navigational terms are words having to do with the direction the ship is going and how it's getting to its destination. So the first word is the course. The course is the direction that the ship is headed or being steered. Okay? The course is the direction the ship, it's where the ship is going. Okay? That's called a course, the direction. It's either going north, or it's going south, or it's going east, or it's going west, or it's going northwest. That's the course, the direction that it's going. Okay? Now the heading is similar to the course, but the heading is the direction that the ship's bow, remember the bow is the front, right? It's the heading that the ship's bow is pointing. So the heading, if I'm pointing that way, then my heading is that way. If the bow is pointing that way, then the heading is in that direction. Okay. A knot. Now, be careful because this, see, the K, you don't hear it. It's silent, right? It's not cannot. It's not cannot. It's simply not. Okay? Knot. And a knot is a unit of speed equal to 1 nautical mile. Okay? Per hour. And I know Mexico, they use the metric system, right? They use centimeters and kilometers and meters.
Yes.
In the United States, we don't. Okay, we use miles. It's different. And on an American cruise ship, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be miles, not kilometers. Okay, so it's something you're going to have to get used to. Okay, so a knot is equal to 1 nautical mile per hour. So what's a nautical mile? Well, a nautical mile is 6,076 feet, okay? Which I think is approximately 2,000 meters, about 2,000 meters, okay? Or it's 1/8 longer than a land mile. So a land mile is different than a nautical mile. All right. A port. Ports obviously are very, very important to cruise ships because that's where people go. The port is where the ship is headed. So a port is a harbor designed to protect vessels. When you drove up, what's outside here? You have a parking lot, right?
Yes.
Where they park the ship, where they park the cars, right?
Yes.
Well, that's what a harbor is, except it's for boats. It's where the boats are parked, okay? That's what a port or a harbor is. It's where they park the boats. Just like a parking lot, except for cruise ships. The word about. Now remember, about has a different meaning than on a ship than it does in regular language. Okay, it kind of has its own meaning. So when we talk about is the opposite of the direction being traveled. So if we are going this way and we want to turn about, we would go this way and face the opposite direction. Okay?
It's behind.
Yes.
Okay.
If we would make an about, we would start here and we would end up here, the opposite. Okay? About. You'll also hear the word or the phrase aids to navigation. The word aid means, yes?
Does word navigation is correct?
Yeah, no, that's a misspelling.
Oh.
Yeah, it should look like this. Whoops. It was right here. Should look like this. Navigation.
Okay, thank you.
We talked about navigation, right? It's where the ship goes. It's steering the ship. Okay. So it should be navigation. So aids to navigation. The word aid means to help. Okay? To help or to assist. When you aid someone, you provide them aid, you're giving them help. So aid to navigation, meaning it helps navigate. It helps you go where you need to go. And aids to navigation are things like markers in the water, buoys, and we're going to talk about buoys in a minute, lights, lighthouses, and GPS. Those are all things that help the ship go where it needs to go without getting lost. Okay? Because you don't want to be on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean and get lost and not know where you are or where to go. That's why you need aids to navigation to help you. Okay? So what is GPS? GPS stands for Global Positioning System. In outer space, there are satellites circling the Earth, and they're beaming information down to the Earth, and they tell us where you are, where you're going, where you need to go. They can find you anywhere on the planet. Okay? So a ship will have GPS on it, and they can type on their computer, and the satellite will tell them you're here. Okay? So it's an electronic, satellite-based navigation system. So you can almost never get lost with GPS. GPS will almost always tell you where you are on the Earth. We even have GPS on our cell phones. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The word ali, is the direction away from where the wind is blowing. So let's look at this. Turns out I needed the dry board more than I thought, Mr. Bassett. So that's okay. All right. So when we talk about ali,